Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Human Perspective. And today we have another great guest, and her name is Andrea Dalzell. Andrea Dalzell is from New York. And which borough do you live in now?
Brooklyn.
All right. That's really why we selected her. It was 50%. Brooklyn, Brooklyn. You cannot be bad when you're from Brooklyn. But on a serious note, she is a woman of many different talents. And I think you'll find many different things of interest. Let me please explain that I am a white disabled woman. I am wearing new red glasses and earrings and a blue blouse. We continue to be in the foyer of my apartment, and we have various pictures and postcards and of family and friends around. So welcome. How are you?
I'm well, thank you so much. I am a African-American mixed woman, wheelchair user who is wearing a blue sweater and a pink scrub top underneath. My hair is curly and I sit in front of a bookcase and my degree.
Thank you for joining us today. And I know that you're very tired. You just came in from work. Tell us what you do.
I am a registered nurse. I am the first registered nurse to use a wheelchair in the state of New York to get through nursing school particularly.
And what's your disability and how long have you had it?
I have transverse myelitis. I was diagnosed at the age of 5.
And what did you come home from today? Where do you work now?
So right now I'm working at the Stevenson Family Health Center out in the Bronx.
This is not your first job in nursing, right?
This is not my first job in nursing. No, I have a long list behind me now after once thinking that it would never happen.
Why did you think it wouldn't happen? And what made it happen?
Going through nursing school was rather difficult. Not saying that, the curriculum is meant to be easy. It's definitely not. Nursing is one of the hardest curriculums in the world. And I expected that it would be difficult. What I didn't anticipate was having to think about accessibility among also being the student, because it's something as a wheelchair user I'm used to. I've been in hospitals, I've been in clinics. Yes, I know I can get around. The patient perspective is giving me say that I can do anything. I know what I can do. And to kind of be told that or hinted to that I would be unable to be a nurse always kind of played a part in what led up to me actually being a nurse today. Everyone's saying no, and I'm here saying, watch me. Don't decide for me. Let's actually try it before you write it off. And that's how I got through nursing school. And at the point in time where I thought after nursing school, I should be able to get a job. I've already proven myself. And that didn't work out. I went through so many interviews, so many job descriptions, applications just to get the interviews, and then be rejected from a majority of them, mostly clinical rotations that I was trying to get to.
And what drove you to want to be a nurse?
I was going to school to become a doctor. My undergrad degrees are in biology, neuroscience. I wanted to go to med school, and I realized I didn't like the medical model. It wasn't for me. I can never be the doctor that says, you're never going to be able to do something again. I'm not going to be able to be solidified in just science, because I do have a very faithful background. So knowing that about myself, I decided to apply for nursing. I took the exam, and it still took me a year to actually put in the application for school.
Why?
Every time I tell that story, I'm like, why did I do that? I did that because I think subconsciously I never saw someone be a nurse in a chair, or you don't see too many affluent people in the world who are wheelchair users, so you don't really kind of see yourself in that position. So in the back of your mind, you just kind of tuck it away as a dream that may never come true or might come true. And when I finally applied to nursing school and I got the acceptance, I think in that moment, I knew that I was going to be unstoppable. It was like, there's no way someone can deny me now. And if they did, I'm going to fight for everything.
Yeah, I was the first wheelchair rider to get a license in New York City. So when I heard about your story, I'm like, oh, wow, Brooklyn, Brooklyn again. But this was so many years ago, 1970. And I think for me, similar to you, I expected that there were going to be problems.
Mm.
And when I was denied my license because of medical reasons, I couldn't walk. I think it's one of the most difficult things I ever had to do in my life, to really decide that I was going to pursue litigating. Because 50 years ago, I really did have questions. Well, I've never seen anybody who's used a wheelchair teaching, and what if they're right? And what if I don't do a good job? And what will that mean for other people? And on and on. Did you have any of those feelings?
So much so. I was the first for my college. I'm the first for my program. What does that mean? Others have been and couldn't complete. And here I am telling them that I can, give me the chance. And should I mess up? What does that say?
So here you are engaged in becoming a nurse and dealing with all that it requires, including having a disability and dealing with these various issues. And then you start becoming an influencer in social media. How did that come about?
That kind of just fell onto my lap a little bit. Decided to go to a social media influencers workshop. Her name is Katie Du. She connected me to Cherokee Uniforms, which supported me 1,000%. And they started saying, document every interview that you go on. Make sure that you're using your phone to talk about these interview processes. Okay, this is interview number 32, and I'm so excited. And I went in, and then you would see my reaction afterward, like that I knew the moment that I went into that interview that I was going to be discriminated against. And then the next day, I'll be like, okay, guys, I'm going on another interview. Here we are again. And just that repetition kind of grew the following. And then last year when George Floyd was killed, and the whole Black Lives Matter movement exploded onto like every single continent. I posted a picture on the Brooklyn Bridge, and I had a shirt that said "Worthy." And it was just for that moment in time, like if anyone of any color could be killed, how much are we worth? And at what expense are we really saying? And it kind of drove a little bit higher. Now everyone's kind of piquing attention to me, trying to pique interest on what it means to have a disability and still be a caregiver, because it's something that's not been seen. It's not shown anywhere, and people are interested, and they want to know how, and they want to know how they can do it for themselves, and just spreading little bits of inspiration like seeds everywhere growing.
So, you clearly are becoming an influencer. What influence do you feel that you're having within the nursing profession and healthcare community? And what additional value do you feel you're giving with the people that you're serving? Obviously, you're a nurse, that's your giving, but you're a nurse plus.
I love that. I am a nurse plus. Okay, so I'm going to take that for sure. But I love this one story where when I was a nursing student, I was helping a colleague. I went into the room of a patient who had just had a stroke and was now hemiplegic, so not using one side of their body. And I did the blood pressure, and they started hysterically crying. And I said, "What's wrong?" I'm thinking I'm doing something wrong. I'm hurting this patient. And she just says, "I thought my life was over." That's when I knew I was on the right track for nursing in general. Like, here this person is seeing me as now their caregiver, realizing that life doesn't end in the bed that they're in right now. That's just the difference that you can make in someone's life, an impact, being a representation that someone is yearning to see. Every day I go into work, and those young kids see someone who is not only capable but can do, because I'm giving them their injections, I'm talking them through it, I'm giving them the stickers at the end while I'm also talking to the parents. I'm telling a first time mom that she's doing a great job raising her kid, even though she's there with a bunch of concerns that she's doing something wrong. I'm telling the older person, that they still have so much life to live. They just get to live it. And I don't even have to say anything. I just have to roll in the room and say hello. and they automatically know that not only have I been through something, I've overcome something, I have gotten through things, and I am sitting there giving them the care that they're seeking, showing them that life doesn't stop at their diagnosis.
And what impact do you believe you're having within the profession itself on a day-to-day basis?
Usually nurses are complaining about their back pain. They're complaining about so many different things. They're on their feet 12 hours a day. I'm on my wheels 12 hours a day, and I'm like, okay, I can still go. Let's go. Like, what's going on? There's different mechanics. I'm showing them how to do different body mechanics just in everyday movement. Okay, no, turn this way, move this leg up, and you'll realize that the body will move a little bit easier. Right?
Wow.
How do I pull a patient up in bed? Let's put the bed in Trendelenburg and lift the patient to slide upwards and then turn. There's so many different ways that my colleagues are gaining just little light bulbs of information that they've never been able to get before because it's not written into any textbook.
So you are a role model, you are a nurse, you're a social media influencer, and you're also in sports. How did that happen?
Keeping active. So nursing drove me to be boxing all the time to get up my upper body strength. I needed to be able to get through CPR and figure out how to do it while I'm in the seated position. 4 years later, I'm about to roll my first marathon.
November 5th is the marathon, right?
November 7th.
Sorry, November 7th.
Yes,
Excuse me.
November 7th is coming up.
So where do you want to see your life moving forward?
Oh, Judy. I don't know yet. I'm tired right now. I can tell you that honestly. So I know there's a break coming up at some point. Nursing is definitely in the future. I do plan on becoming a doctorate of nursing practice. I would love to be able to become board certified so that I can nationally help our community. I can at least do telehealth visits, help people to hold over when they can't get into their doctors, be able to maintain a certain level of standard of care that isn't given currently to our community. And it's so desperately needed, being that we keep heading in the direction of more and more people becoming disabled and a healthcare system nowhere in the world ready to maintain them.
So what are some of the changes that you would like to see made in the healthcare system?
Well, for one, language first. I'm very, very tired of the way that disability is perceived and the way that it's trained about within our medical textbooks, within our jargon, with how we even document. The way we document influences how society sees people with disabilities. When we say wheelchair bound, right? That one. But when doctors write wheelchair bound on a piece of paper, that can mean the difference between getting the job and getting Social Security.
Right.
Right. Like, yes, in some aspects we need what we need to survive. And if Social Security check is what we need, then yes, wheelchair bound is what's going to make you sign off and letting me survive, then please, by all means. But at the same time, when you're considering a job or you want to be active participant or have feel like you can do something, you go to day camp and you write down wheelchair bound and they're like, well, how am I supposed to help you? The thought process is negative. We put a negative connotation on how we are portraying our patients.
I agree with you that language is so important, both for the providers and how we see people, but also how people feel they're being treated. I think the healthcare profession, quite frankly, like in education, has too few disabled people, either with visible disabilities or who discuss their invisible disabilities. And yet we have a healthcare system that is not coordinated, that is very dysfunctional and makes it incredibly difficult for people who need other than once a year healthcare checkups. And what do you feel yourself that you are adding as far as getting people to seriously look at how healthcare is delivered on a day-to-day basis?
So just even as my disability, someone who's coming in as a wheelchair user or a mobility device user, I bring them to the treatment room, which is our biggest room. So they have the room to move around. They have a room to have a caregiver with them, and they have the room for the doctor to be in there too. I'm also starting to think about the fact that when we're writing up their paperwork, Have we sent them for therapy? Are we sending them for therapy that's within a hospital or a teaching facility? That way they are getting the actual training that they need to be productive citizens versus just saying that I can't do it. We assessing correctly? And now getting the doctors to be involved in how I'm doing my own assessments as a nurse when they're coming in a walk-in clinic.
So to me, it's your personal knowledge, your professional knowledge, and your chutzpah. I think, not only getting your first job after 76 interviews, but clearly you're a proactive person who really is holistic in many ways. Could you please tell us about the nonprofit organization you want to set up?
Yeah, so I've recently set up the Seated Position. It is a nonprofit that's built towards having people with any disability get the motivation and the guidance that they need to either pursue higher education or the workforce.
Well, congratulations. Thank you so much. I know you came home from work to do this program. We really, really appreciate it and look forward to staying in touch.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
History won't forget us or try to minimize our pain, and so I